Hello, trading has closed on July 24th, 2018. Yesterday we had lower targets. I said unless they were invalidated by gapping sharply higher, they should print. Well, we gapped sharply higher, so before the market opens, the calls are off the table. I've been making these videos for over 7 years. I think people will tell you I make plenty of calls that get killed before the open, which doesn't cost me any money. I don't make that many that are flat out wrong. So we have this one added to the list. This one has to early tomorrow to print. And we have a new target from today's patterns. We came close, but not close enough. If we can rally tomorrow, here's a target from back almost 6 months ago, which should offer resistance at and just over it if it hits. Here's how the system worked today. The market gapped up, hit a higher high. The system said ultimately lower prices would print. Didn't say they'd print this fast and didn't say they'd print that low. That's just the way the system works. While we're dropping here, it said there'd be a recovery. We got up, but not high enough to make the system happy, and that's the target for tomorrow, along with this one. Well, we gapped up, hit a higher high, closed under each of them. That's bad enough. We also closed under the low of the opening pattern. It's a very negative formation. It's invalidated if we gap and promptly take out this high. Otherwise, lower prices should print. Doesn't mean that we'll close lower. Tomorrow's pattern is one which tends to have an early high and a late high and have a rally throughout the day. If that doesn't happen, it tends to drop in a straight line. So we have targets. We have an expectation of lower patterns, of lower prices, but not a lock that we close lower. I'm not saying we'll close higher because this is negative formation unless it's invalidated early. Well, how about the long-term picture? Well, this goes way back to the low, 2009. This is the 490th week of the rally. That's a long time. This first drop lasted 69 weeks. Let's round it out to 70 weeks. And you'll see, other than for this one, every 70 weeks we've come pretty close to a change in trend. Cycles aren't my long suit, but at least we should have our antenna up. That this is a time that's worked a number of times in the past. Well, I've always been saying this isn't the only valid count. I had this one as A, B, C, D, E. I don't think that's a three-wave structure, so I'm going to change this to A and B without changing the basic idea that that's an impulse and that's a consolidation. My friend Bill Blount, the late Bill Blount, used to say there were always at least two valid counts. With a consolidation like this, I can come up with all the valid counts you want. Even if we go over this high, you could call this A of an ABC. But the general idea is that whether that's an A or a 1, at some point after this consolidation, we're going to drop. Now, a lot of people get pretty adamant about their accounts. I go online, watch other people's counts. They're all different. I'm going to get rid of this, call this a B without changing the general idea. I really think as long as the count doesn't break any rules, you can go along with it. My target for this up move was about 28.2378. We went about 6 points higher than that. I'm not saying this is over, but if we drop from here, that's close enough for me. It's not the only target, but it's a legitimate one. Certainly, if we leave an island reversal at this point and start dropping like a stone, which hasn't happened yet, if that happens, you can explain it. But if something else happens, there's some other count that works too. As long as the count doesn't break any rules, it's okay by me. I'm counting it this way because this is a three-wave structure. A lot of guys are calling this wave 1. This would have to be 5 waves. I don't see it. I think that's a three-wave structure, this A. I think that's a three-wave structure. Now I know that's a 5. That's what 5s look like to me. If someone finds a way to call that a 5 and call it a 5, as long as it works for him, I don't care. If it doesn't break any rules and the count's a valid count, it's fine by me. This is the one I'm using. There's no reason to change it unless I get an incompatible action. I've been staying with it for 2.5 years. I'm not going to change it unless it gets invalidated, and that hasn't happened. If someone else has a count that isn't invalidated, that's fine by me. It's not just one count that works. Anyway, we have targets for tomorrow. We have a very negative pattern closing under this opening low. Lower prices should print tomorrow, whether or not we close there. And if that doesn't happen, it should be obvious at or soon after the open. If we don't clear this early, we should see lower prices. And that's today's call.